Welcome back to DW Beauty. Starting off with another video. I didn't do this last time, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do my brows. So starting off, I wanted to add this Revolution Banana setting powder on top of my eyebrows before I go ahead and with this Brow Trio palette that I got from BH Cosmetics to line my eyebrows up. So this is called a Flawless Brow Trio Defining Kit. So this chocolate shade I'm going to use, and it's kind of like it has two matte powder shades of brown, and then it has a gel pomade. So I'm going in with that gel pomade first, and I'm going to go ahead and line my first brow up. So it came with a built-in, or it had a brush that came with it, small dual side brush. So I'm using that flat end, that angled flat end brush to basically curve and arch out how I want my eyebrow to look. And then I'll take the tip of it and just feather towards the beginning of the brow to give it that faded look. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other side as well. Next, I'm going in with the LA Pro Concealer, and I'm using this nice flat brush to go ahead and carve out my eyebrows. So I'm going to go in with the applicator on the LA Pro Concealer tip and just carve the underneath of my eyebrows. And I'm also going to do the other side. I also want to use this as a base for my eyelid, so that way when I do go in with my colors or shades I'm going to use, it's going to make it pop. So I do tend to use a lighter color than my skin tone. So I want to use about 2 shades lighter. It's kind of close to my undertone a little bit, but that's just the ring light. The ring light can fool you sometimes. So yeah, I definitely want to use something 2 shades lighter, so that way I can go ahead and carve that out and make that distinguished line for both of my brows. And I'm just going to go ahead with the applicator tip and just make sure I use this flat brush. Now I'm taking this Born This Way concealer in Deep Tan, the shade Deep Tan, and I'm going to go on the top of my eyebrows and carve those out. The reason I use a lighter shade underneath my eyebrows is because, for one, I'm going to be putting color or shadow onto my eyelids, and I want to make sure that every color pops. And then for 2, the reason that I'm using a darker shade on top is to basically blend in with my foundation. So I'm taking that same flat brush that I used to carve out underneath to carve out on top. So that way it's a clean, distinguished line. And this Deep Tan shade was pretty close to my skin tone. So that's a trick that I like to use, that I learned to blend out well with the foundation when I put that on top. So that way, if it's too light, it's going to show through. It's going to be really, really pasty. We don't want that. We want everything to blend very well. Now I'm going to take the Alyssa Edwards Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, and I'm going to start with the shade Back Rolls, this brown shade that I pointed at. I'm going to go ahead and place that over my eyelid, and I'm taking a tapered blending brush and kind of going around and making that first base color. So yes, I'm going in and I'm blending that in, not into the entire eye, but kind of making an arc away from my cut crease, or away from where my crease is, because this is not going to be a cut crease look. So I'm blending that in with that taper brush on the other eye. And then I'm going to take the next shade. The next shade is going to be HOE, Ho, which is a nice, about like a tan color, warm tan color. And I'm going to go in and place that on top of the Back Rolls shade that I use. So I'm tapping into that now and going and blending that right underneath that, or right over top of that, yes. So that way it gives it a nice transition color. Now I'm going to take the next shade, which is called the Supreme, that's in the Alyssa Edwards palette, and I'm going to go into the ending of my eye and blend that out there. And this is a nice peachy color, so I'm focusing this shade right into the outer corner of my eye. I'm not taking it into the inner corner, just placing that into the outer corner. So that Now I'm going to take this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow shade in Cosmic Charge, and it's an ultra glitter color. It's really pretty. I'm going to take this with a tapered brush and basically focus that into the inner corner of my eye and kind of blend it going outwards, but not into the entire eyelid, just kind of melting that in with the other colors. In this shade, I really liked when I seen it in Ulta. It had a nice, you know, amount of glitter in it on top of the shimmer, so this worked perfectly with the eye look. Now I'm going to go in with this L'Oreal Paris Super Slim Infallible Liquid Eyeliner. This is in the shade Black, and it's very pinpointed. I used this in my last video, and I'm just going to go ahead and make my wing liner, starting from the inner corner of my eye going outwards. So what my trick is with applying this is I'll take my time. I'll take little strokes, so that way I know exactly the direction that I need my eyeliner to go in, instead of doing this one big stroke and then having it all uneven. And then I'll go into the outer corner of my eye and basically have that wing point towards the ending of my eyebrow. And I'll go ahead and do the other side. Now on top of the black eyeliner, I'm going in with this NYX Vivid Brights liner, and it's in the shade Vivid Escape. It's a nice neon green, kind of limey color. So I'm going to put that on top of the black eyeliner that I used in the first place. And I'm going to be careful because I'm not going to be applying lashes. I have some lashes that I got installed. Shout out to Bree, and I love the set that she used on me. It's a classic set done by her, so I want to be sure that I do not get any product on top of these lashes. So next, what I'm going into is this Ruby Kisses eyeliner, and it's in the shade Pastel Lime Green, and I'm just going to go along my waterline with this shade and make sure that I get that into my waterline really well, so that way the lime that's on the liner and as well under my waterline will pop out most. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the L'Oreal Paris Voluminous mascara, and this is in the shade Black, and I'm just going to go ahead and darken up my eyelashes on the bottom, so that way it makes my eyes pop even more. And I always like to do this. It just gives me that, if I don't do it, I feel like I'm missing something with my eyes, like it doesn't look right to me. So this is something that I can never not do. So I'll just go in and do my eyelashes at the bottom with that. I don't need to apply them to the top though. So going in with this Natural Oil Primer by NICKA 24 Karat Gold. And I usually don't use any oily based primers on my face because I have more oily skin than I have dry skin, but because it's really cold here in Florida, I want to go in with something that's going to protect my skin as well as moisturize it. So I'm going in with this primer oil and just moving it all around my face, making sure that I go ahead and massage that in. And this stuff smells so good. It's very lightweight and it doesn't make my face feel extremely oily. So it was that perfect balance that I needed before I apply my foundation. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my MAC Studio Scope SPF 15 foundation. And this is going to be in the shade NC45. So I'm just squeezing that on my face where I need it to. And then I'll take my handy dandy sponge and just go ahead and blend that in. Now remember from my last video, I told you guys to always make sure that you use a wet sponge. Okay, this is very vital because if you go on with the dry sponge, it's going to look very patchy. Okay, that's not what we want. We want a smooth application. So go in with a wet sponge. You can do it with water, you can do it with a setting spray or something that you feel comfortable with. Any type of liquid that you feel comfortable with putting it on your face. Just make sure that sponge is wet. Okay, so I'm just going to blend that into my face. And with the Born This Way concealers, I'm going to use the medium tan and deep tan. Starting off with medium tan, I'm going in and concealing underneath my eyes. I'll go down the bridge of my nose, as well as on my chin and underneath my nose where my nose and the lips meet. I want to say that's a Cupid's bow, yes. And then I'll go on my forehead and I'll make that motion just as I'm doing now. So that way I can make sure I know exactly the direction I need to blend in. And then I'll take that deep tan concealer shade and just make a few strokes on that. And the reason I'm using two different concealers is so that it blends well into my face. The deep tan is more of my actual actual shade. So I'm just blending that in with the lighter shade so that way it doesn't look like you can't see a harsh line or a separation in where the two colors meet. So it's a perfect blend in where my highlighted areas are. So I'll just go along using the same sponge and blend that into my face. Next, I'm going to take this Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation in the shade Cool Earth. And it's pretty deep brown. So I'm just going to use this to contour my face out where my cheekbones need to pop, or my forehead, around the areas of my face to give it that nice chiseled look as well, and on the sides of my nose. So I'm going to take this tapered brush. And the brush set that I'm using is by BH Cosmetics. It's a 10-piece metalized brush set, and it's called Royal Affair. So if you guys are very interested in that, you can definitely go on bhcosmetics.com and look up this brush set. And it has like everything in it from eye brushes to face brushes. So this was the complete kit that I needed to use for my face. And I'm just going to make sure that I take that taper brush and blend up and down my cheeks, so that way it gives it a nice medium. And then I'll go around the other spots on my face where I did contour, so that way that blends out as well. Now once everything is blended out, I'm going to take that Banana Revolution setting powder, and with that sponge I'll go ahead and cut off where I need to bake my contour that I just set in, and make sure that everything is sharp, and not sharp to the point where you can see visibly, okay, she contoured her face and she just didn't blend it out. This is just good for setting that in place. And I'll go down the bridge of my nose as well as my forehead, underneath my eyes, so that way everything stays. You don't have to worry about your makeup bleeding through, or, you know, your face getting super oily. So definitely going with that setting powder after your face is fully contoured and you're ready to go. Your next step should be after this is maybe a few touches to your eyes, which is fine. You can definitely do that. Or you just move on to your lips. Now going back into the Alyssa Edwards palette, I'm going to take this black shade called Beast and that brown shade that was used earlier called Back Rose. And I'm just going to go underneath my eye and smoke this out. And I wanted to really achieve a soft glam look. So I'm going to take it and just underline my under eyes where I have that lime green color there on my eyelid. And now it is time to dust away all of the setting powder that I had baking over time, so that way everything is nice and just a good smooth finish. So I'm just going to go ahead wherever I had that powder setting and just dust that off, making sure that I am careful not to brush away any of my eye makeup because I got that where I need it to go. So yep, just doing that part right now, dusting that all off. Next, what I'm going to do is use my Profusion bronzer and luminizer palette, and I'm going to take this middle shade. It's like a rose gold color. I forgot the name of it, but it's pretty rose gold shimmer, and it is like everything, y'all. Like, I didn't need to put a lot of this product on. It was kind of like a little goes a long way. So I just lightly feathered on my nose and my cheeks, and I'll do the temples of my forehead as well as my chin, and a little bit on the tip of my top lip, so that way when I do go ahead and apply my lip color, that'll make that sit into place. I'm taking the NYX lip primer in the shade Nude, and I'm just going to go ahead and line my lips, my entire lips. And I like to do this just so my lips won't be chapped if I decide to use a matte shade on top of that. So that is good for lip protection before I apply my lip colors. And then the next lip shade I'm going to go into is I like to line my lips, so I'll go in with a Wet n Wild kohl liner pencil, and this shade is the SIMMA Brown. So I'll just make sure I line my lips, and I tend to overline slightly, but not too much, because I don't like for people to see like, okay, it's obvious that's what you did. So I'll do this actual mechanism here where I'll pout my lips to see exactly where I need to go ahead and overline them at. And now I'm going to go into my lip color, which is by BUXOM, and it's a VAVA LIPPIE Plump, or a Plump Lippie. And I want to say the shade is it's called Taupe It Off. So I'm just going to apply that and pop that into my lips just like I'm doing now. And then it's time to set. And I love to use my favorite setting spray by NYX, which is the matte spray. Voila, she is ready. And I just fell in love with this look. It is so easy, super easy to follow along with. And it is just like perfect for beginners if you want to learn how to apply your makeup. Y'all just excuse me because I am feeling myself here. But yes, if you ever want to learn how to do makeup, this is like the perfect video to watch. And you can follow along with it. That's why I like to be very detailed with what products I'm using and how I am trying to explain to you guys how I'm applying the product, what brush sets I'm using. So by far means, I am just trying to give you all information and all details blow by blow, so that way no one's left in the dark. But thank you for subscribing to my new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. And if you want to see more videos, just stay tuned. Bye, guys.